that I am an artisan instead of an artist.
So be it.
I prefer to be an artisan because this is like the most beautiful space that I have constructed in my life. But they kept pushing me, and once a painter that was a teacher there, Leisha, I said to her like, Leisha, listen, I am really, really tired of people telling me that my work is not worth. And she said, like, listen, Camilo, sometimes you need to close the door and not talk to anyone. I was like, yeah, that's amazing idea. So I was living in the studio. I have a whole ecosystem to survive there. And I closed the door. And finally, the work was like 5 meters long.
I was going to say, it probably wrapped around the whole room by the time you were done.
Both sided by 1.5 meters tall. And I created this alter ego that is a character that I use in my work, and just to laugh about me. Instead of hitting my back, I was hitting the character.
Paper. And you are rough on your papers.
Yeah, because it's about trauma. When I finished that, it was like trying to build in a really fragile way. I was trying to rebuild myself. And the 4th semester was like putting things together and being another human. And my work changed a lot. What you say about the paper is like that. That's why I use a lot of paper, because like my traumas about...
Is it normal paper that you use?
It's
because it's pretty resilient, whatever you're using.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
It's from a notebook that I deattach the pages. And it's cool because it's made out of layers of paper, so I can take them off and make the paper thinner, or I can crumple and uncrumple the paper, or I can use a pressure washer to wash the drawing. I can also rub the paper against the street, so all the geography of the street is going to be marked on the paper, so the paper relates to that specific place. Imagine like the violence I lived if I were working on canvas. Like it's really tough and you cannot destroy that.
You'd never get the story that you get with yours.
I mean, everything would fall apart.
And it would be so finite, where the first time I saw your art, it looked like a map. It came out and it was in a square or a rectangle. And then they started unfolding it, unfolding it, unfolding it. And next thing you know, it was like 10 feet, 15 feet down the hallway of this incredibly detailed, dense work. I recognized almost everything in it instantly. And with every character, you got a feeling. It was like you either were brought somewhere in your past. So there's so much interaction and color put into your paintings on one side, and then when you flip them over, it's like a whole other piece of art, which is so cool.
Yeah, but you know, like you are hitting like the core of my practice.
Right.
Because I don't know how to draw in an academic way. I was not trained as a...
Yeah, but who made up that way? Somebody like you.
Yeah,
a pioneer in a way.
I am not.
People study people like you. You know that.
I am not regretting that, because I know that. But it happens when you are a kid and people start to say that your drawings are not right. You should learn how to draw in a perfect way.
Yeah, just draw some rainbows in a house and be like everybody else.
What you were saying about the pop culture character that you can recognize is that I like to work a lot with the sinister.
Right.
And this is a concept that relates when the familiar becomes unfamiliar, or when you feel lost being in a totally known place. The way I draw is searching images on the internet and under certain rules, depending on the series.
By what, like the year or like the demographic?
If I am talking about like mental problems, I am looking for images about anxiety, medication, psychiatry, and things like that.
Sure.
If it is about the war on drugs that I lived during the 80s and 90s, the searches are related to that period and to the characters.
I was excited because when I was looking at the piece, I was thinking in my head, of all of the characters from my youth.
Yeah, of course.
And one of my favorite characters was Captain Caveman. Do you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, where's Captain Caveman? And he was there. It's like this, you really thought of everything, right?
It's dealing with uncertainty
That's
because
it.
I don't know which characters are going to be in my screen. I have certain rules and I know that I'm going to search images, but I never imagine how a drawing is going to be. So for you as a viewer, you go to see the drawing and you start to see like really known character for you and you feel like attracted. But then when you dig deeper into the drawing, you feel that those, because of the violence that it is inflicted to the drawing or because of the depiction of the violence, you feel lost.
Yeah, it's true. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because there's something definitely Machiavellical underneath it. And you don't look at these cartoon characters as being, they're entertainment, right? But it's a lot more in what you're drawing.
Yeah, you know, I think it has a lot to be with my childhood, because when Medellin was really calm and I had a normal life and suddenly it became so violent, but it became unfamiliar. So the feeling I had as a kid was this
things that make you feel safe, right?
Feeling like feeling lost in a place that I totally knew, because the things that were happening were totally strange for me.
Do you think that maybe some of that carried over when you went to California and you were in an unfamiliar place? Like that those feelings kind of came up and you didn't feel safe?
Yeah, it was really important. Because when I was in Colombia, and that's a good question, because a lot of people say that artists should be suffering a lot to create good work. And maybe I thought that at the beginning of my career, but when I went to CalArt, this huge load that I had in my back, it started to disappear. And I was like, wow. Now I can see Colombia in a different way, but I am feeling really safe here in this suburb, and I am in the land that is creating this war in Colombia. So it was a really strange feeling, but when you can have like distance from when you are now and the things that happened before, you are more calm and you can reflect about that in a better way.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes when you look back on things, you understand them better. Where if you're in that sort of, whirlwind of what's happening, you don't have time to think. It becomes instinctual, right?
Yeah.
And then it's fight or flight, or just the four basic emotions that we have, and it's just our way of surviving. What you're saying in your work is really important. And tell me about the backs of the pictures, because I think that the backs of the pictures are just as important as the front in a way, the way that they're taped together.
Okay.
And they're not really perfectly taped together, but you could see like the damage on the other side of the paper. So tell me a little bit about that. I think it's really interesting.
Well, the first idea with that, there was a hidden back of the drawing.
A speakeasy.
That people couldn't see, like the things under the table, the connection, all of that. And it started with my drawings about aliases, and the aliases, the newspaper clippings, are connected through veins or through red hoses, and they go to the back of the paper through black holes that I draw on the paper.
Right.
So it's like going back and going.
It weaves its way.
Yeah, always
inside and out.
Both sides. But then it got like more sophisticated. For example, there is a work called Mera Calentura, refers to Calentura as a really dangerous place, but Calentura also is related to heat, like when a place is really hot. So the Mera Calentura series is about the damages that the war on drugs and the illegality of drugs is causing in Colombia in the environment.
Yeah.
In that series, the main character of the drawing is Hydra of Lerna.
Okay.
And Hydra of Lerna, when Hercules cut one of her heads, two were born. So it's a metaphor of the failure on the war on drugs. If you try to eradicate something with violence, more violence is going to grow. But also the heads of the Hydra are cartoon characters that are never caught, like the Roadrunner or the Pink Panther
Right.
or Jerry. So it's like if you try to chase them, you are not going to never to cut them. It's like chasing the horizon, the idea of perfection in the future. And so there is devastation all around when you try to do that.
Right.
But the important thing about the backside of this drawing is that when I finished the drawing, I spilled on it and I started to scratch the surface. So I took like 2/3 of the weight of the drawing off. And then I took those pieces of paper and glued them on the body of the Hydra. So the more destruction you had on the back, the stronger the beast is going to be.
It's growing in the back. Whoa.
So for me, it also relates what we were talking about, white paper, because I can do things like that, like having a really thin and damaged surface and a really strong beast. It's going to be stronger. If more devastation there is, the beast is, we wouldn't kill the beast, you know,
Yeah.
like.
It's like
If
yin yang,
you
right?
kill it, two are born.
So what,
Goes like that.
So, you think about this concept of having, the shifting of power, depending, right? It kind of ebbs and flows like time. So what do you think the middle ground is to be happy and to survive? I don't like to use the word survive with the word happy, because to me the word survive is almost negative.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm happy that I use that word because it sort of describes the works themselves, right? You've
Yeah.
got the light part and the dark part, the yin and the yang. How do you become that little spot in the middle and live there happily at times to have a happy life, to have moderation, let's say?
Yeah, but are you talking about the as a creator or
I'm talking about in life,
as a person?
because the language that you're using in describing your work is, you have one side, and then when one side is weak, the other side is strong, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So in life, what do you think? How do you think you can live like in that sort of in between-ish place?
Yeah.
Or do you think it just sometimes it's important to feel one way and then another time another way?
You don't like to use the word survival or surviving, and I don't like to use the word happy.
Yeah.
It's funny because for me, like trying to be happy as I tried to be
Yeah,
in
that's
the
a heavy
past,
burden. It's a heavy burden.
Yeah.
Why not just be, right?
Yeah, it's like I would change the word for, instead of happy or feliz in Spanish, for tranquilo. It's
Right.
like tranquil
Yeah,
in
content.
in English. Yeah, you can enjoy certain things, but bad things are going to happen to you. The key word should be acceptance.
Perfect.
That no matter what's going on, it's going on. So if you accept that, you can work on the things that you believe you need to change, and you don't have this pressure that you made like a bad decision in the past, and
Yeah.
trying to change the past is one of the worst
It's the worst
things
thing
that
you
we
could
can do.
It's
Yeah,
depression.
because it takes a lot of energy
Yeah.
away of us, and also trying the future to be like perfect
Yeah.
is also
Anxiety.
Like, yeah, anxiety. So
It's
like-
funny, sometimes when we have conversations and something bad happens, like in the moment,
Yeah.
or, you could be in an instance and we'll walk away, and like 10 minutes later, someone will try to bring it up. I'm like, it was like 100 years ago,
Yeah.
but somehow in my head, that makes it better, because time always makes things a little bit better, right? So
or worse.
Or well, it depends on your personality, right? But I always say, oh, that was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know, somehow in my head that helps me move on. Like,
Yeah.
and here we are. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
It's being in the present,
Yeah.
basically. It's
Yeah.
like letting go control.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things in life that you cannot control.
So
and if
true.
you try to do that, their anxiety comes again. So
Yeah. I kind of look at it like a whiteboard sometimes, especially at night when you're thinking and thinking. And I don't know why, like negative thoughts will come to you more at 3 o'clock in the morning than they do, maybe because you're busy. But sometimes at night I get caught in my thoughts and I catch myself just envisioning everything that I'm thinking on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
And I just start to erase it in my head, just like let it go. Well, like it's interesting I would use the word erase because like you said, there's always something left.
I also meditate a lot, and I do a practice called non-dual meditation in which you observing the thoughts arise in consciousness.
Yeah.
And you said that before, like being aware when you are caught in a train
Those
of thoughts
keywords, yeah.
that is so intense, or when you are aware of that, when you know that these thoughts are arising and you can realize that, and you say like, okay, and you are not engaged with them,
Yeah.
it helps a lot. But also the idea that there is an observer and there are thoughts, the idea of being an observer is also a thought itself.
Yeah.
This non-dual meditation is about the real thing is consciousness,
Right.
and then there are thoughts arising,
Just growing like a farm. Yeah.
all the time, and maybe there is no self that can control of these thoughts. Stopping for a little bit and being aware of the thoughts can lead you to live an examined life instead of an unexamined life.
I mean, otherwise you're just careless.
You are like in this buckle of thoughts, and the thoughts are governing you.
How do you know when you're like finished?
It's difficult because it's about vicious cycles.
Yeah.
You know, like, and how they repeat and how they reincarnate. If I look at my work backwards, it's all related. Like obsessive thought, which is not obsessive in the way of harming me, but that is something that I want to talk about, and I feel this moral obligation of continue to talk about the problems that the drugs brings to Colombia. Sometimes the visual cycle is, you feel that is over in a series of drawings or whatever media I'm using, and then you find another thing that really reincarnates, in which the visual cycle reincarnates and
Grows another head.
another head, totally. Then you start to research that other head, and it's a different way of saying things, but at the same time you are dealing with the same subject.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you're just expanding on the micro. So the message that you're trying to convey is what?
There could be two messages.
Okay, that's healthy.
The one that I talk about my work in regarding mental health is that we are mistakes with legs. If we are perfect, we will be machines. So it's trying to embrace those mistakes and realize that we all are like that. And the beauty of the people are on those mistakes, because perfection doesn't exist. And if you chase perfection, you are going also be really anxious about that. We don't need to be recognized, we don't need to be important, we don't need to be the most intelligent people, we don't need to be the best artists. We just need to try things, like the things that you like to do, and sometimes save your life.
It's true. I think your ego has a lot to do with that, right?
Of course, it's like to dismantle the ego and dissolve the ego and living in the present and enjoying every conversation as we are having this conversation. It's really fun. It's not like thinking about what I'm going to say next. It's just this, and of course there will be more to talk if you are listening to the other people. So it's nice because it's about vulnerability. When you are open to other people, you that you trust. You can be vulnerable. You know that people could harm you, but they are not going to do that. So it's really beautiful, because that's when real friendships or relationships happen, when you open. Otherwise, you are going to be like with a shield, because you think that everything in the world is
judging you. And
yeah.
I saw something funny last night. It was I was watching the Grammys, and at some point, one of the artists went up on the stage, and she had this coned hat on, and she's giving her speech, and she had a book because she had something to say.
Yeah.
And because she was holding her book, her hat fell off. And talk about internal dialogue. I love what she said in that moment. She said, "Oh, my hat fell off, and it's going to be okay." But she said it out loud to the audience.
Yeah.
And she took a minute or a second of something that she could have regretted for the rest of her life and said, "Oh, I embarrassed myself. Look, my hat fell off," and whatever. No, but she made it relatable, and she made herself human. And I think that's kind of when she won me over as a human being in that moment, because that hat falling off happens to all of us at some time. Like we all fall down, we all get up, but it's that internal talk that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
And people can feel when you have a good internal talk. They can feel that. And as opposed to a bad one, they could feel if you have a bad one too.
Yeah, and mostly they are about judgment.
Yeah, or seemingly. So you know what? You think about like some of the most embarrassing moments in your life, and you think about people that were around you. Those people are not thinking about that right now.
Of course. Yeah, I was talking with Victor like 5 minutes like before this conversation. Like, if you look at yourself, you are so worried about what's happening to you that you are not judging anyone.
That's true. There's no freedom.
So it is you who is creating that. Yeah. So that's one of the things. And the second one is the dialogue about the failure of the war on drugs. You know, like the war on drugs started 50 years ago.
It's a long time. It's half a century.
And Nixon at that time didn't want any American to take drugs.
Yeah.
And it was
either did Nancy Reagan, right?
Yeah, and then just say no. And
or do you know where your children are? I thought that was a great campaign, though.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I am not saying that it's
an idealistic view.
Yeah. I'm talking about how to deal with them and how to have them aside, because they will be forever. And I'm not just saying like, hey, all the people should do cocaine, like as I'm doing with the bricks in the.
They're floating nicely now.
Yeah, really nice. Talking about this failure, to have conversations about that, to deal with how can I create that conversation through a visual proposal, because I really think that a work of art that is not talking about is a dead artwork. Those conversations that are around an artwork are the ones which are making it richer and more dense. It is just that, it's like this moral obligation, no matter if people are saying that I am making Colombia feel like narco country and things like that, because a lot of people don't want to
no, there's resolution in your work.
It's happening, and it's happening right now, and the problem continues. If there are no bombs in Medellin, it doesn't mean that people are not being killed in the countryside and or in the favelas, and it's a really huge problem. We need to talk about problems, otherwise it's erasing things and putting all of the stuff under the carpet, feeling as if everything was okay, but it's not okay. And the only way to resolve things is having conversations like at the same level with other people, and not diminishing them. And
with your work, metaphorically, it's also very interesting because it's literally something you can unpack. You start with this piece of paper, and then boom, boom, and it goes on and on and on. But it's just like life, right?
Yeah.
Life doesn't happen. You don't get from here to there immediately. You have to take it one paper at a time in these bite-sized pieces to see where it's going.
And also when it is folded, I can take it with me and like smuggle bricks of paper
Yeah.
Because I don't like this shipping, insurance, big studio stuff. So if I'm dealing with a 6-meter long drawing, I am just folding and unfolding, and also the uncertainty comes because if I am applying color here and the drawing is folded, I don't know what's going on to be in two layers under that. So letting things happen that are not in my control.
And I think that's a really great place to end it. But amazing story. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I wanted to ask you what you're working on next. You just finished a residency at the Fountainhead, which was amazing. And I think people were really intrigued with your drawings in the hippo and how you had that work displayed in the corner that could be unfolded. And I almost, I saw someone walking over it. I was like, oh, he's walking on the art. And, but it was like, is that okay to you that people walk on it? I mean,
yeah, totally. I mean, it's like...
That's what I thought.
People are being killed. That compared to people walking on an art piece is nothing. I mean, it's like, you can traumatize the paper, and that's part of what I like, that the drawing always has the marks of the people that interact with it. Talking about the new project, there are actually two that I started to create before coming to the residency, and one with the residency. But as we are talking about hippos, there is a work which is like really absurd but funny, contradictory as well, and it is one of these reincarnations of what's been happening with the consequences of having people, drug traffickers with too much money in their hands. I am collecting hippo dung. The why is that there are two stories. One story is that Pablo Escobar brought the hippos to Colombia because he wanted to cover the cocaine bricks with hippo dung, and in that way the dogs were not going to bark because they felt that it was dung for a bigger animal.
That's amazing.
So he was exporting this drug related to the ego. Like when people are high on cocaine, they think they are the kings of the world. Like think about Wall Street and things like that. Then with the money of the drugs, Pablo Escobar brought the hippos to Colombia.
Like the biggest animals he could think of.
It's like the biggest invasive animal in the world.
I mean, if you needed dung, that's a good.
So
you get the best bang for your buck.
He brought because they eat like between 80 and 100 pounds of grass every night.
Wow.
And they are shitting on rivers and water corpuses. And the other story, there is a mycologist, the one that has a documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
And his hypothesis, and it's a hypothesis but because it can't be proved, is that we are humans because our ancestors, when they were hunters, they started to chase the animals and they found hippo dung or elephant dung. And in that dung, magic mushrooms grow. So they started to eat the magic mushrooms, and they have more empathy towards the other people of the group. There were more connections with the neurons. The brain started to be bigger, and the fight or fly reaction diminished. So people were braver.
Wow.
So for him, we are humans because our ancestors started to take magic mushrooms and dissolving.
It's not a hypothesis.
That's a good joke. There are the myth of covering the coca bricks in hippo dung. There is this hypothesis, and as the hippos comes from 3 individuals, there is a huge inbreeding between them. We have 220, and they have started to have a lot of problems genetically.
Psychologically, and genetically.
They have cataratas, there is a hippo with 4 nostrils.
No way.
They are a little bit smaller. they are like with humps. They are starting to have these genetic problems.
Terrible.
What I'm trying to find out is what kind of mushrooms grow in the hippo dung when the genetics of the hippo
Wow.
has changed so much. And they are not, imagine like in Africa, the hippos are called African hippos. In
Sure.
Colombia, they are called cocaine hippos, as if they were a new race of brand of hippos. They started to shit in Colombia, and there are too many hippos. There is too many hippo dung. So I am collecting with people from the region the hippo dung and creating these hippo dung bricks, really similar to the ones of cocaine, and waiting for the mushrooms to grow. One question is, are the mushrooms similar to the ones in Africa or to the ones we had in Colombia? Because the spores are always traveling, and instead of being Panaeolus africanus, it could be Panaeolus colombianus. And the other aspect of the project is that there is a small light at the end of the tunnel with this huge problem that we have been having for 50 years, which is what happens if we start to research these magic mushrooms and start to do experiences, guided experiences with people who really know about that. I'm working with Catalina, my partner, that she knows a lot about that, like altered states of consciousness. And I'm working with a musician, and he's creating music with the noise of the hippos.
Wow.
And maybe if people start to take magic mushrooms in a controlled way, grown on hippo dung, they can be healed. From the depression, anxiety, fear of death. I know that this is not going to solve the problem, but symbolically
It's extremely interesting.
It's like one light, just one positive thing about this mess that we have in Colombia.
Well, I'm happy you're the guy working on that. That's amazing.
I don't know, because it smells not so good.
I don't know. Lots of times bad situations bring out the best, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
that's amazing. And it was such a pleasure having you. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
For the invitation and for the drug on ice. The cocktail was amazing.
I'm glad you liked it. It's in your honor. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we can find Camilo on Instagram. What is your Instagram, Camilo?
It's camilorestrepo.co. You can say it in English. I don't know how to say it.
I think he did a great job, but it'll be down below in the link. And you can find us on portraitmag.com.
Okay, cheers.
And thank you so much. Cheers.
Amazing.
Camilo Restrepo's mocktail is a beautifully crafted homage to his life experience that reflects his journey. The Colombian Hippo Mule came together in my mind in stages, ultimately culminating in a refreshing and delicious creation. The vibrant raspberries symbolize the shedding of blood, a poignant reminder of the struggles endured, while the ginger beer adds a sparkling bite, representing resilience and the zest for life that emerges from adversity. The butterfly PT evokes the serene waters of Colombia, beautifully complemented by special iced coconut cubes that float atop, artfully depicting the bricks of cocaine that wash up on the shores. Together, these elements created a layered narrative, transforming each sip into a reflection of Camilo's rich heritage and the complexities of his story, all while celebrating the beauty of transformation and renewal.